80% attack speed stim, 15% damage buff on CC'd gods, and a great ult with a branching stun. Hello hobos and hoblets, today we'll be talking about Artemis, Greek goddess of the hunt. I'll be breaking down her ability kit to its entirety, all the bits, tricks, and things that make her tick. Artemis is a part of the Hunter class in Smite, so she deals physical damage, and being a part of that class, giving her passive increased auto attack damage scaling, maxing out at an extra 10% auto scaling at 20th level. Artemis is typically played as an ability-based ADC, wanting cooldown, and to use your abilities to CC your enemies for as long as possible to gain as much damage from your passive.
Let the hunt begin.
Artemis's passive is called Still Target. It's a really small passive, but it has very impactful meaning. If a god is affected by any type of CC, Artemis does 15% more damage to that god, and does 30% more damage to minions under the effects of the CC. Now, that might sound small and insignificant, or simple, or whatever, but 15% more damage scales a lot higher than like power or anything else. So since it's multiplying your damage output, it's actually a lot. It's a ton.
Get out of this.
Now onto Artemis' first ability, which is called Transgressor's Fate. Artemis instantly places a trap on the ground that stays there as long as no enemy god steps on it. If an enemy does step on the trap, they are rooted and crippled, preventing them from moving for 2 seconds, doing tick damage every second for 3 seconds. The max total damage of a single trap does 261 base damage, plus 90% of your physical power. You can stack your traps on top of each other to a max of 4 traps, and they can all trigger at once, doing massive damage to a singular target. This max total damage of these 4 traps is 1,044 base damage, plus 360% of your physical power, which might sound tantalizing, but setting up 4 traps on top of each other and finding an enemy to willingly step on it might prove to be a bit difficult. Using this ability as a pseudo-escape is much easier, or to be able to turn a fight with CCing your opponent, Artemis is able to utilize her passive to get more damage in a possible losing engagement and turn it into a winning one.
Come into my range if you want to be a pincushion.
Artemis' second ability is called Vengeful Assault. Artemis readies her bow to throw an onslaught of arrows, increasing her attack speed and movement speed significantly. When this ability is activated, Artemis cleanses herself of slows and becomes immune to slows for about a half a second. A max attack speed buff of 80% attack speed and a max movement speed buff of 25 extra move speed. These buffs last for a max of 5 seconds. This ability goes on cooldown as soon as you press the ability. So if you build at, let's say 20% cooldown or 40% cooldown, let's just go to the max. It is a 8.4 second cooldown. So the effective cooldown of this ability would be 3.4 seconds, which is a crazy cooldown for an ability that gives you 80% attack speed, nearly giving Artemis permanent attack speed buff of 80%.
On target, as always.
Artemis' third ability is called Suppress the Insolent. Artemis fires a volley into the ground targeting an area, damaging and slowing all of the enemies hit by the circular volley. The max damage of this ability does 300 base damage plus 75% of your physical power. You want to mainly use this ability as poke. As it has a range of 55 units, it's rather far, and anytime it's up, you can use it on the enemy as it has a very fast activation time on the ability, from when you press the ability and when the damage comes out from the ability. So even though you're hitting enemies at 55 units away, they don't have time to react to your poke. Or at all. They can't even move out of it. As long as you hit it on the enemy, you are doing your damage, most definitely.
Tusky attack!
Artemis' fourth and final ability is her ultimate. It is called Caledonian Boar. Artemis calls forth a tusked boar on her enemies, rushing to the nearest enemy god, doing damage and stunning them. and itself. The boar is immune to damage until it hits the first god, and then continues to charge at other gods for its lifetime for a total of 6 seconds. Artemis is also immune to crowd control for 1.5 seconds while and after casting this ability. The max charge damage of the boar does 450 base damage plus 100% of your physical power, and a max stun duration of 1.5 seconds. This ability can jump around to an entire enemy team if given the chance, doing damage and stunning all of them, which is a lot of damage to be spread out to an entire team if given the chance, as well as a lot of stuns, as if it is a 1.5 second stun to an entire team, that's about like 6-7 second stun to an entire team. That was Artemis's entire kit. So now I'll get into useful tips to help you excel at Artemis, as well as how you should be playing her in general to maximize her usefulness.
Always be prepared.
Building Artemis, she plays like an ability-based hunter, so you want to build as much attack speed and ability cooldown so you can get the most out of her second ability and her passive. From the enemy being CC'd more often, a good build on this patch starts with Leather Cowl, Spiked Gauntlet, and Gold Gooseberries. Then, in order, build Devour's Gauntlet, Fail Not, Demon Blade, Deathbringer, and Kin Size. When you reach level 20, upgrade your starter item to Hunter's Cowl, and lastly, when everything is finished, upgrade Deathbringer to Malicious Deathbringer. And relics, you should start out as beads, then later into the game, Aegis. This build ensures all parts of your kit are taken care of as a cooldown hunter. 20% cooldown, and still a lot of attack speed at 1.4 attack speed, or maxed out at 2.5 attack speed with Vengeful Assault active. Her second ability. With Malicious Deathbringer and 20%, you'll have that ability up 100% of the time as long as you get lucky with crits. So, 2.5 attack speed 100% of the time in teamfights? Sounds pretty good to me.
Easy as breathing.
Artemis' strong point within the game is late game, as with her passive to boost her damage, when teamfights are happening, CC should happen very often, getting great value out of her passive and allowing her time to build up her own damage and cooldown so she can assist the CC. Boar is also a great tool to break up a fight as it goes from target to target automatically. It makes her hard for any singular person to go in, as from that singular person that boar could bounce to each enemy teammate once, making it a value of a 5-second stun.
That's the style.
Early game, Artemis just wants to farm and stay safe, as she even has trouble clearing waves at times, as her third ability is just too small to hit an entire wave of minions. As Artemis, the only way you may be able to apply some amount of pressure in lane is once you have your boar, but you still won't be out clearing your opponent. You may be able to just out damage them, but if you manage to stay safe enough to where you can rotate and begin to help your team, you're in a pretty good position coming team fights and later into the game.
The tracks lead this way.
Artemis is the most helpful hunter for team fights, as she has a lot of hard CC of her own, being able to set 4 different traps on the ground, and her boar existing. So just counting CC, that is 4 roots, and the potential of 5 stuns, which is very helpful not just for yourself, but for your entire team. Being able to set up choke points with your traps, placing them in ways that the enemy has to awkwardly run around them. For the most part, however, you'll do as most ADCs do and just auto attack. So spamming your 2, Vengeful Assault, getting max AA speed, and just auto attacking anyone you see.
Another successful hunt.
Because of how power scales with physical autos, auto attacks are highly damaging, as physical characters scale 100% of their physical power to their auto attacks. To explain what an auto attack cancel is, when auto attacking, there are specific phases to an auto attack. Artemis's auto attacks have an almost instant action phase where the projectile comes out from the character and terribly long recovery phase to prepare for the next auto attack. Auto attack canceling is the action of casting an ability right after the action phase of an auto attack. AA canceling is beneficial to Artemis' kit, as with that long recovery phase, if she's able to cancel that recovery phase, she can shorten the recovery and get more damage off, weaving her abilities in the process. As she gets auto attack speed, as she gets later into the game and more auto attack speed and she gets faster, it makes it harder, however, to efficiently AA cancel. So, as you get later into the game, it is better to simply not really think about it and cast your abilities as needed.
This gets to the point.
Playing Artemis, you want to level your main clear ability first, as you want to farm, and your third ability will help you do that the best, as even though it can't hit the entire wave, it still provides the most clear in your kit, even at level 1, doing 100 plus scaling. After that, once you get to lane and hit level 2, getting your AA speed, so you can help box the enemy with your support. And level 3, I like to put 2 points into their third ability, Suppress the Insolent, just for more clear and damage, as it does do a lot of damage. After putting a point into your ultimate at level 5, then proceeding to level Artemis' third ability, her main clear ability, Suppress the Insolent, to help her clear. Then your second ability, Vengeful Assault, for that good auto attack speed. Then her first ability, Transgressor's Fate, putting points into her ultimate whenever those points become available.
Smart.
So to look what a full rotation of what your abilities can look like is this. Artemis combo at full build with full Tusky stun and at max AA speed. You want to 2, 4, and then you can get 3 autos off, so auto, 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 and then place 1 under their feet so they're stuck in place, and then you can get 3 autos off again before you need to do anything else, so auto, 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 then 3, and since they're slowed, it should be easier to hit them, and then continue just auto-attacking them as they run away. And then Artemis combo when Tusky's low level, so a shorter stun. You want to 2, 4, auto attack cancel into your 1 under their feet, then auto attack 3, and then either run away, or if you think you can win, continue auto attacking.
I need to get to the fight!
Artemis is one of the most late game hunters there is, with a lot to learn, and if you choose to dart through the forest in search of something to hunt, or someone, then I wish you luck fetching the largest of game, enemy gods. So you may take your rightful place among the gods, and become the best god you can